Hi, I'm Lee Smith.
And I'm Jane Johnston from Blood and Iron Martial Arts.
And we're here today to review the Blackfencer version 4.
We actually got this guy as a gift. Jamie Ripley of Dark Age Creations gave it to Lee because he needed a new sword and because this guy is quite nice. And we wanted to review it because it's always kind of important to realize what sort of swords you should be training with and what kind of equipment is best to do so.
And I used this for the last 3 months really hard after my training into Long Point South. And I mean, it's been a fantastic piece of equipment. There's not a lot of damage to the blade. And considering the intensity of which I train at, that says a lot for this product.
So moving into our first impressions, when I first saw this, I mean, it's pretty. It looks a lot nicer than a lot of the other synthetic trainers we have just because it's shiny. It's got a different kind of crossguard where you don't need to have a cap on it, which is kind of nice. Upon picking it up, my first thought was it's a little bit heavier than the training swords that I'm used to working with, but that's not a big deal, especially because it's a minor difference, not one that's going to kill your training or anything like that. And the biggest difference between this one and other synthetic trainers is the crossguard. It's got this nice little ridge here, which we'll get into a little bit more later on, but that is a big difference and a first impression kind of thing.
I've had the Blackfencer version 2 for quite a while, and I've been using my student's version 3 as well, up into getting this sword. And honestly, I really liked it right out of the box. Picked it up, swung it around, felt excellent. I really like the fact that this crossguard is one piece. I mean, that's a real game changer in the synthetic training tool industry. All right, so now we're talking about the break-in period. And really, there's very little break-in period for this sword. I mean, we've been using it now for the past, like 3 months. This here was maybe a little rough, but that's like absolutely minor. Right now, it feels great in the hand. I use a bare hand or with gloves, doesn't really matter. And there's really not much of a break-in period with one of these kind of swords.
Yeah, I mean, with most swords in general, there's really not a break-in period other than the fact of how does it hold up within the first couple months, and this one has been doing really well. So overall, we're pretty happy with the way that's been going. Okay, so moving into the things we like, it's a really sturdy sword. It's been holding up really, really well, and of course, it also looks really nice. For me, those are the two biggest things. It's not my favorite sword to use, but I do really like it, and there's really nothing I dislike about it. But look at this guy. He's pretty. And I know Lee loves it.
Yeah,
so.
I absolutely love this sword. I love the new crossguard. I love the feel of it in my hands. It's probably the best synthetic trainer I've used to date, which says a lot because I've used the vast majority of them that are out there. The shock absorption on this is absolutely fantastic. I was drilling with this for long periods of time. I mean, with very little fatigue, other than muscle fatigue, which is normal. So I've even sparred my junior students who are still sparring with synthetics, and I find this is probably the best sparring synthetic I've used also to date as well. The warranty. Is there a warranty on the Blackfencer? Yes, it's a 1-year warranty, and in the words of Jamie Ripley, 1-year warranty, no questions asked except for how did you manage to break it?
It is a bit of a beast.
It is quite a robust product.
All right, so things we'd like to see changed. Honestly, I like this sword, and I am about to get really picky because there's nothing that I dislike about it that's fundamentally wrong with the sword, but personally, it's not my favorite for a few reasons. Objectively, though, like, there's really nothing wrong with this. The crossguard's not my favorite. I found that when I was teaching newer students with one of these guys, they had a hard time pulling off certain false edge techniques like a zwerk or a shield because they had a hard time getting over the ridge here, and they don't have that problem with other synthetics. I think for more experienced practitioners, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't have a problem pulling anything off with this guy, but as a learning sword, I don't know that it's the best for that kind of thing. The other thing for me is that the grip is a little bit bigger than some of the earlier versions and other synthetics that we use, and because I have little baby hands, it's a bit of a struggle, but it's not something that's like a life-changing deal breaker. I like using this sword, it's just not my favorite.
I didn't have the same issues as Jane. In fact, I found it to be completely suitable. This little groove didn't really bother me. My thumb switches on and off with no problems. Doing a zwerk or shield and drill translated to a zwerk or shield in real time when I was sparring my students with steel or even with this sword. So for me, absolutely no issues. And other students who own these swords, like Corrigan or TJ, they also have had no issues as well. In fact, quite like them. So yeah, this is a quite good sword. The only thing I would be just be really, really picky. This grip, I think eventually it's going to go, but a small piece of duct tape fixes everything on this sword. And I mean, that's more than I can ask for anything.
For overall impressions, like I said before, it's not my favorite synthetic, but I do use it. It's fine to use, and overall, I think it's a good sword.
Most of my students, actually, other than Jane, all of my students love them. I really like them, and I highly recommend to anybody who wants them. Where can I get these swords? Well, 2 major distributors, one in Canada, Dark Age Creations. They're fantastic to work with, and of course South Coast Swords, who we always recommend because, again, customer service is excellent and pricing is really good. They're the North American distributor for Blackfencer, and great people to deal with.
Overall rating, I would give it 2 thumbs up.
So would I.
Yeah,
Very
it's good stuff. Really, there's very little to improve here. I think it's a good product. So that's been our review of the Blackfencer V4 Longsword Trainer. Overall, we really like it, and I hope that you liked this little review. If you have any kind of product you want us to review, let us know in the comments, and we will do our best to get back to you on that. Bye-bye now.